Just stop. November 11, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. There are people out there deliberately trying to undermine our assemblies. They are doing this to benefit themselves financially and politically. The chief troublemakers are, the Reign of the Heavens Society, and Kim Gogwen's, Life Force, organization and Russell J. Gould's PARSE syntax crowd. These groups accuse me of being a Vatican agent, because I gave the Pope's employees notice and due process to stop their improper activities. What would you have me do? Sit still and let the Inquisition continue to operate undisturbed by any protest of moral conscience and law? Yes, I freely admit that for 7 years, I wrote to thousands of bureaucrats all over the world in the name of Pope Benedict XVI and told them that what they were doing was fraudulent, unlawful, and had to end. To get the flavor of this correspondence, which often involved multiple letters and due process, read the very first article on my website, www.annavonreitz.com. Entitled, Letter to Cardinal George, the late cardinal in charge of Chicago, Illinois. To get a full account of how and why I undertook this work, read my book, Disclosure 101. There's nothing held back. Nothing secret. In fact, the more you know about the effort made for you and for your sakes, the better. These were not feel-good letters. These were wake-up letters. The message they carried was simple enough. All is not well in the Church nor in the world at large, and you have a responsibility. You are part of the problem. You have to make corrections. In a way, I am still spreading this same message to the entire world, both inside and outside the Church. All is not well. All is not going to be well. Until you wake up and deal with the actual and factual problems in an honest and realistic way, things will only get worse. I told that to Cardinal George and I tell it to you, too. That is not as comforting as an elitist fairy tale spread by the Reign of the Heavens Society, which is part of the goddess worship cult. Dig into what they are offering and you will learn. 1. They stole their structure and all the credible bits of their program from Frank O'Collins, a voluntarily defrocked Roman Catholic priest who turned away from the evils of the Church and tried to create a different and better hierarchy, a sort of utopia which Frank called Eucadia. The Reign of the Heavens Society stole Frank's ideas and words, twisted them, and presented the perverse, self-aggrandizing and plagiarized result as their own product. 2. They steal their members' identities and the value of their birthright trusts. 3. They promote elitism, teaching their cult members that they are the chosen. 4. They lie about the origin of their claims to be the United States of America, when what they are really claiming is that they own what is left of the Scottish interloper doing business as the United States of America, Incorporated. This was a commercial corporation that went bankrupt in 1906, and because they bought some memorabilia left over from that criminal misadventure, they are claiming to own America. I will leave it to your own good sense to discern the truth amid the lies, and figure out that any organization that makes its living by lying and acting as a secretive predator against the interests of its own members is only carrying on the same tradition of everything we have suffered so far. Then there is Kim Goguen, an AI interface chosen by Marduk himself, to continue as his successor and hold the power to block access to literally thousands of what they call legacy trusts. These are historical trusts of various kinds, family trusts, treaty trusts, business trusts, etc., that belong to living people and sovereign nations all over the world. And it's Kim's assigned job to sit on them and their assets like Smaug the dragon, and never let any of the actual owners have access to their assets. That's Kim's actual role. She's the bank trustee of all bank trustees. So what is a bank trustee? Well, you see, when people deposit actual assets like gold coins in a bank, those assets become a liability for the bank, because the bank is responsible for keeping them safe. The bank, in self-defense against this liability, creates a bank trust and places a bank trustee over the trust assets. This is done in-house, so that the bank has a layer of insulation against claims and a specific person is responsible for locking up those assets. Meet Kim Goguen. Instead of being the savior, she's the ogre. And anyone chosen by Marduk to do anything should immediately raise your suspicions, because Marduk was not a nice man, by any stretch of the imagination. She has recently formed yet another corporation called Life Force, which she claims is going all over the world performing deeds of daring do. If so, it's the same as Blackwater's performance and having the same effect. Anyone who isn't part of the accepted infrastructure gets attacked, and the end effect is that nothing is improved and nothing moves forward, though she says it is. I'm sorry, but I have eyes and ears upon the world, too, and not one of the things that she has claimed about life force has turned out to be true. Oh, I wish there was some well-funded, professional anti-crime elite force out there protecting us all against the powers of evil, but there's not. And what she's doing in claiming that there is, just makes the situation all that much more dangerous, because it gives people false hope and keeps them from doing what they can do to protect themselves and their families right here and now. A third disinformation effort is the whole PARSE syntax scam being promoted by Robert Horton, an ex-Army PSYOPs operative, and Russell J. Gould, which upon closer examination turns out to be another exercise in dog Latin, the latest iteration of a 1500-year-old fraud scheme fully detailed as the Justinian deception. Look it up, because it was invented by the Roman Emperor Justinian. We are awash in a sea of fraud and fraudsters, so you have to use your own Shinola sensor and common sense. Here are some pointers. 1. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably bourgeois. 2. If it offers to take care of you and give you money, it's probably bourgeois, unless there is a solid, rational basis like the national credit to fund it. 3. If it bases its claims on any entity or organization that is incorporated, it's bourgeois by definition, which knocks out all three of the above. No sovereign entity in the history of the world has ever been incorporated. Period. And only sovereign entities have the standing, right, and power to act as national governments. Thanks to accidents of fate, our states of the Union are still standing as sovereign entities in their own right. Claim yours now. Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. Get started working for and on something that is honest, solid, in your control, and verifiably sovereign, not controlled by some foreign power. Not another corporation. Not another song and dance. Not some weird quasi-religious cult. Your State of the Union is yours, but you have to own up to the job of claiming, caring for, and running it. You have to bear the responsibility of self-governance to have the right of independence. I realize that this is not an easy task or a comforting vision of an airy-fairy world where the good meritocracy chosen by someone else takes care of your needs and tells you what to do from dawn to midnight. The vision I offer you involves hard and largely unpaid work, commitment, logic, a knowledge of history and law, and ultimately, freedom. Freedom of mind and heart and action, freedom to access your own assets, freedom to live and die according to your own vision. So, when you hear the vicious gossip and the siren songs, just stop. Evaluate for yourselves, and then make a choice. If you want to join the reign of the Heavens Society, go. Get out of our assemblies and stay out. If you want to use Russell J. Gould's personally copyrighted PARSE syntax and fall under his control and law, hop to it. Again, get out of our assemblies and stay out. And if you want to help the bank trustee continue to withhold and control your assets by joining Life Force, be my guest. Just know that there is going to be a reckoning of those accounts, and you might be on the wrong side of it. Go, by all means, and don't let the screen door hit you. If anyone in your assemblies gets seduced into these or similar efforts, show them the door, ask them to turn in their state credentials, and be firm. This is a goats to the left, sheep to the right situation. You can't be unincorporated and sovereign and be incorporated at the same time. So split the sheets with these persons and make no apologies about doing so. They have the right to believe lies and fairy tales, and to turn away from the work and responsibility we offer. But in doing so, they also lose the rights and political status that goes with the work and responsibility. And so, let it be that those who stand upon the land and who honor the true God, shall be separated from those who drift upon the sea and become ensnared in the kingdom of Satan. Let those of us who can discern such things be in it, but not of it, and serve to save and restore those who will be saved. The rest we cannot account for.